Oh, definitely. The thing is with North Academy, and Pimp did touch on this as well on the desk, you know, the three keys to how they could be a good team. It is stacked with good players in North Academy. They are very versatile, solid individual players. Saw some of them way back in Copenhagen Games earlier this year, and they really stood out to me as well. The likes of Mertz, for example, has been on the radar for quite some time. So I think mousesports, you know, if they do take North Academy lightly and don't give them full respect, you could see an upset today. I assume that we're into a bit of a tactical timeout right now, or, well, probably technical. But it looks like we are ready to jump live back into the action with 4 Desert Eagles and a P250. Heavy investment for mousesports. And North Academy coming in with 3 assault rifles of their own, so we're not going to see any Mac 10 shenanigans. Most teams will run with one of those in these kind of rounds.
csgo wanting to find some positioning up close here. It is, of course, going to be that early B-site stack from mousesports, but keeping eyes on drop down as well will be Sunny inside connector. And this actually gives space for Oscar to work out towards long, so just trying to feel up the setup here. Trying to find an opening if they can. I mean, if Oscar could get that Deagle headshot onto A-core at a distance, then that's huge. It's going to probably force the hands of North Academy, get them moving quicker into this B bomb site where they have put themselves towards, but have actually opted to let these smokes fade and ensure that they can come in clearly. But again, there's another volley here from mousesports, so we're just going to burn down some time.
That pretty much is just the order of play right now. And North Academy probably trying to bait out some of this utility that mousesports possess as well. They really are down to their last few nades, 3 flashes and a smoke. So North Academy in no great rush, still plenty of time left on the board. And Cyclone now going to use that molly to somewhat mask his drop down with a UMP. But he's by himself, the rest of his team still not really committing. I mean, they can push through mid, but we're only going to start to see the play now.
Yeah, Oscar will see these players coming up from ramp, and while he deals damage towards Borup, it's he who gets the kill. Cyclone already in a fantastic spot to section off the rotation, and so while Chris J walks by, he's then quickly cleaned up. Rops with a response, but still a 4v3, and of course, Stico could pinch these Ts into the bomb site. Plant's gonna come through surely, but maybe they can get some damage done.
That really is all they can hope for at this point, especially as Stico's gone down. A-core will dispatch of him. Rops and Sunny have plenty of to save here. They really, a UMP and a Deagle into the next round would not be bad at all. Plus, Rops has a Deagle of his own, so he could drop that to someone else on his team. 3 power plays potentially coming up for the CT. So definitely don't want to throw any of these away. Maybe Sunny's on the prowl to try and take one of these weapons away from North and save it. But it could cost him his life. He's going to do a lot of damage, takes down A-core, looking for a second, not going to happen. And I would say overall, probably not worth it. I think saving onto that Deagle and the Kevlar could have been a better boost for mousesports going through into the next round.
Yeah, having only Rops invested for this third is definitely going to be a lackluster situation. Of course, you can still find impactful positions if, by chance, the North Academy does walk into you, right? So if he's able to get himself just under the broken wall, maybe inside of drop down, get 1 or 2 engagements to go his way, and soften up the cash here from North, would be fantastic. But speaking of cash, there's the Mac 10s that you alluded to, Vince.
Yeah, so going for it against the lack of armor as opposed to the lack of head armor. You can get behind this, of course. I think it's all about that farming frenzy in effect now. And again, it's just Rops. He has dropped the Deagle to Oscar, who wasn't too far off landing a headshot onto A-core there. Needs to be very careful. Would have heard the bullets whiz past his head. But this should be business as usual for North Academy. It's hard to see how they lose this round.
I think it's really just going to boil down to, can Rops get close enough to find a couple of kills, or do the CTs just get simply overwhelmed straight away? And we actually see a repositioning from mousesports, opting not to try and hold them on platform, but rather the bomb site itself, which makes sense. With those pistols up close, you can find some damage, maybe through a smoke or off of the back of a flash. And while North Academy get themselves closer and closer, it's actually Rops who comes in from behind. And if only that smoke didn't give him cover, but as it fades, he catches the back of Borup, and with a kill, will have drop in his hands.
Now 3 players stacked on the box. Unfortunately, they moved out just a little bit too early, and Mertz alongside Gade will tag team their way into a triple kill. Still 2 players left alive, and fair enough to Rops, he still maintains 88 of his health, and has picked up 2 frags. So this isn't completely on the realms of possibility, but it's asking a lot as the second weapon is only a Mac 10 against Kevlar.
Sure enough, Mertz would be an easy target. It's for that reason that he resides in the corner. Cade gonna come out, and down he goes. Rops on 3 now. So again, all things considered, not necessarily fighting for the round, but at least a little more impact, and now it's the round that's in question. Time is still playable here, but A-core on damage control with a flash going high will flash himself. And Oscar up close with the MAC-10 could still find the kill, but it's the defuse in question, and, well, the push doesn't go his way. A-Core cleaning it up, but hell, great round there from mousesports.
Absolutely, yeah. Kill bonus for Ops. He got a bunch of kills in the process, 3 in total, I think. They took down a bunch of weapons as well, albeit 2 of them were MAC-10s. So it does definitely hurt the terrorists and boost the CT's economy, but for me, the main issue there was North Academy seemed to panic a little bit at the end. We may have seen some of their lack of veterancy when it comes to playing at this sort of caliber come into effect. You know, one by one peaking, losing their lives to SMGs, and A-Core, you saw him flash himself, was almost panicking at the end, so that could have gone horribly wrong if there was a kit in play.
They're going to have that closer position currently held by Stiko. Going to get caught on a UMP, but with a flash at his feet, he still stands. Chris J's nearby. What an awkward situation. But it's already starting to unfold here as that first headshot connects, and Stiko will linger just inside the smoke.
Still in there. They're blocking each other for a good 5 or 10 seconds in that smoke, and finally he's going to show his hand. There's one kill, not able to get a second. A-Core prowling around the back, but the bomb has been dropped, meanwhile from Rops. And now Mertz and A-Core have to try and retrieve the bomb. The good news is there's plenty of time left alive. The bad news is that A-Core's all by his lonesome. He clutched the last round. Can he go one better? This time it is against the Norp and an M4. No weakened players on mousesports this time. A must-win round, and they've connected the dots as Rops puts the bullet between the eyes. And mousesports get on the board.
It's wild to me that Stiko's able to keep himself alive for that long. I mean, he had a very real opportunity at coming up with more than just one kill there, but we see these trade frags going back and forth as that frantic situation can unfold. And sure enough, it is mousesports in that 2 versus 2 to come out on top. And I would say crucially so. North Academy had themselves a great little start, but because of that costly round and the fact that they then win the follow-up, look at the buy here from North Academy. It's atrocious. Sure enough, the 2 AKs can find their impact, but with 3 players on pistols and walking into a double op setup, this could be mousesports starting to add them to the board early on.
And this, in a nutshell, is why that previous round where I believe it was Rops got 3 kills with UMP catches up with North. They lost so many weapons in that last round that this is the result. Even on the T side, you're going to start to struggle economically speaking. We did discuss as well that how quick would mousesports elect, I should say, to go for the double op setup on the CT side. Well, there's the answer. The first opportunity they've had, they've gone for it. They've gone all in on this double op composition. Very important they don't allow these pistols to get up close and personal, because that's where the AWP will definitely start to struggle.
Of course, knowing that the economy is low, it's not as though they're going to have to go into an op duel. Don't need it on the T side, but it would be a way to find that distanced 5v4. But it's distance that they'll have to close if they want to find this round. They've done a good job of at least getting that early A positioning. Little standard setup, but it's the bomb that lingers on, so that's also going to have to fall back here. It's not as though they're going to leave that anchor in order to come in behind connector once they execute towards B. In fact, it's Borup who's going to try to get himself closer towards drop, flashed by Stiko, who thinks about the peak, but decides not to go all in.
Now likes to go for it, unfortunately for Borup. He's looking the wrong angle. Was in drop by his lonesome side, multiple angles to cover, and it's just a complete bloodbath. Out they walk one by one, and the superior weaponry is going to claim the round. Rops comes through with a quick-fire double at the end. mousesports do put 2 together. That should be the terrorists now into an eco.
Curious to me, of course, that they go for that earlier A setup and then don't at least leave somebody close, not even trying to create any noise or any kind of a distraction to draw rotators away from the B bomb site. And then even once they go back towards B for their execution, it's almost disjointed in the sense that Borup gets into position earlier on, and within that small gap of time, mousesports are able to start unpeeling that offense. Sure enough, the then, desperate flood off of platform is all they have to work with, and, well, we see how it goes the way of the CTs. Look to get aggressive on that AWP. Chris J finding the first. Of course, it is just versus pistols, so an easy cleanup already happening here by Stiko on the sidearm. A-Core and Mertz with just the Glocks and a lot to get done here.
Oh, yeah. And now, Gade's Deagle, the only upgraded pistol that came through into this round to be working against the terrorists. Mertz will feel just how powerful a Desert Eagle can be. And A-Core and his Glock, all that remain. He's about to get spotted by Stiko, who has eyes on the bomb as well. So it's just a case of biding their time. Really, if North could get a single kill out this round, it would be mission accomplished. I'm not sure that's even going to happen because Chris J is tapping away with his USP. He's taking quite a bit of damage, but there we have it. Finally, mousesports will even us up at 3 apiece.
Now, I think this is where the depths of North Academy comes into question, right? How do they bounce back from having possessed the momentum, the opportunity, and having lost it? Do we see some kind of an AWP on Mertz? Nope. It's just going to be the AK's utility. And an early B-site presence. Again, going to be putting A-Core alone towards that long A position. Last time we saw this, we actually eventually watched that, that B-site collapse. And they will boost somebody up towards the platform yet again. So just watching mousesports, ensuring that they're not going to get too aggressive, as we did see in the anti-eco. I mean, that's another thing, right? Do mousesports, now that they get themselves tied up, get over-ambitious? That's what North Academy are banking on. And as they push towards long, they lose their first player. So the setup pans out, and Chris falls back.
Yeah, this is where the respect I was talking about before may start to become an issue. If mousesports get too carried away, a bit too cocky, and assume that they can just impose their will on North Academy, that's where mistakes can happen. And again, because of their heavy investment with double ops, they're not completely out the woods just yet themselves. Chris J's low, he has to turn tail and run away. There'll be a hail of gunfire piercing the smoke. But North Academy still retain all 5 players, and they've got some real estate. They're down into drop zone.
A-Core's coming to join the offense as well. We'll bring up the rear as they look to split 2-2 currently. Bomb towards drop down. Sunny on the other side of the window, now positioning as his teammate comes over. So I feel like mousesports are understanding that this beast-height hit is coming. And sure enough, off of the volley of nades, it will. But a smoke down allows Rops to spray for 2. They don't even check it, and my God. Rops and Sunny with 5 simultaneous frags. It's a full house on the B site.
Well, that's a rip. As you say, didn't check it, assumed that that alcove was clear. And the one time that they don't check it, Rops will have himself a meal. Nicely done. As free of frags he could ask for, though. You could see a little smile on his face. And he's 14 for 2 here, Scrawny. That's not a bad score,
that's a Hobbit-level performance.
It is.
I mean, that's exactly what actually dispatched of Rise Nation. The fact that they had no individual talent that could really compete to somebody playing at their ceiling. And so now it's versus Rops. Not a major winner as of yet, but still a very promising young guy.
So again, just the Eagles really to play with. CZ, the flashbang. Very split up though, North Academy. Often when you see a flash purchased, you think it's going to be some kind of a pop into an all-out rush onto the site, but not the case at the moment. They're looking to try and pick and mix their way to a victory. They do have the Eagles, so I mean, it's possible. But mousesports are just holding on. It's a bit too difficult. Sunny up close, spraying down Mertz. 2 players already fallen. Mousesports looking in cruise control. Gate. Is he gonna get that kill? Decide, screw this, I'm off.
We'll fall away. I mean, North Academy had gone for some pretty individual setups there, just looking to win on multiple fronts, and instead they've won on none. Even Gade, who tried to come join his teammates, is now coming into an empty house. Actually, it's occupied. Sunny towards the staircase. We'll spot the last man standing. Gade would love just a headshot, something for his efforts, and he will find it. AK up next. Can he get a follow-up? I mean, there's certainly damage to be dealt here. Double op setup's been pretty heavy. Had kills in a couple of rounds, but now it is definitely mousesports getting their economic legs beneath them. And the rounds as well to follow suit. I really do think that that one gun round where they stampede into the B site, shut down by Rops and Sunny, could have been the changing factor. Now they're going to have to wait until they have another investment. Here it is, op on Mertz.
They do have full round loss bonus coming up now, North Academy. 5-3 looks close, but of course it's important to put in perspective. That was 3 rounds off the back of the pistol. Since then, mousesports have been dominant, really. Been no close rounds in recent memory. And Oscar just peering up behind that rock, daring someone to show him a pixel. I think he just saw the AK above the rock as the player actually switched, and Oscar pounces on Cyclone, looking for seconds. The bomb's also dropped out in a pretty horrible position, actually, for North, but I like that Oscar decides not to overstay his welcome. He's got the pick, no point staying around and giving your life away, just back off.
Yeah, especially with Mertz firing op shots back at him, right? He knows the likelihood of a trade frag there from an AWP is higher than he feels comfortable with. It's actually going to be Stiko towards platform now, getting information and aggression for the way the CT is. Oscar repositioning, going to get another chance at a pick, but now he should really fall off of this. There are still a couple of angles you can play with long A. A great position for an opper in the sense that, you know, you can just fall back step by step, take a shot, fall back, and you've got a little room to work with, especially having some utility to support. But Stiko on the hunt will find Borup, and that clears out drop down. So now mousesports understand exactly what's about to happen. North Academy have nothing but A control.
Absolutely. As soon as Sticko gets the frag and starts to push around the back of the terrorists, the dig is up. And now Sunny, with that nade, could do quite a bit of damage on the push. The bomb's down again. And Mertz has the but it's actually gained from behind that is going to take him out of the equation. Time is starting to tick down now. The terrorists have got to make a move onto the site. Mertz with his AWP needs to do something, but it's going to be Chris J, his opposite number, that pulls it off. And now he's stuck on the stables, trying to flick his way to victory. It won't be happening. Too many mousesports players up in his face, and that's now a 6th round in a row.
Not a situation like on that B-bomb site where they simply just hold off. In fact, it's obscuring the setup there from North Academy that definitely helps mousesports eventually hold their bomb site. You walk into that in a 3 versus 5, no B control and nothing else to work with. Your hands are pretty much tied, as they will be with this buy. North Academy on a single Galil and 4 pistols, and Oscar, looking ambitious, wants to find a pick. Actually gets caught up on the wall, so he decides to stick around, at least for a moment longer. There's Sticko again with some aggression on platform. We've seen mousesports go for this in rounds where they think they can assert themselves, and certainly they have already. Cyclone down. Sunny curious, still towards drop. They know that players could linger here.
Yeah, it seems to me at North Academy now are just out of ideas already. It does seem to be the same sort of tactics over and over again that just aren't working for them. I haven't really seen any set plays thus far, which has been somewhat of an issue, because now we're going to see them peak one by one, and this is where Oscar, I mean, he kind of scored a goal there between 2 players. Really should be landing one of those, but I was going to say this is where Oscar should shine. Doesn't really matter anyway, though, because a pop flash into Rops going for a peak is going to afford them a kill. Mertz bounces back with one of his own, but they have very little in terms of utility. In fact, they have absolutely nothing anymore to push through with. So it's just going to come down to the raw Angels. Sunny's going to get the better of Mertz, and Borup is now all alive. And the only one alive for North Academy is going to try and push his way through drop, but the bomb's down. mousesports have a trifecta of players just watching it. This round is all but done.
At least this time around, we get to see North Academy try to employ the drop-down control, and they don't actually lose their player from a flank off of Sticko. Borup does find that last rotator outwards, and there was an opportunity where North Academy could have just tucked tail, doubled back, and tried to hit that B site. Again, because Borup created the opportunity, but they were so committed to the execution. They were so far up into A, they weren't able to get away. And there's 16K right now on some of the players from mousesports. Scary prospect, because at this point, with 7 consecutive, you know that mousesports, even if or when they lose a round, they're going to bounce back with a heavy buy. They can continue this double op setup that they've been successfully employing, and that really does leave them in a driver's seat position here for the rest of the half. But at least we get a tactical pause.
I like this. I think it's an early enough time where they could potentially switch things around. It's not too late where it seems a bit pointless. And if nothing else, just try and slow down the momentum of mousesports and just take a collective sort of couple of breaths and, you know, try and rack your head around what's been going wrong, because their T side, other than the pistol, has seemed a little bit lackluster, has seemed a bit toothless to me. I'd like to see more set plays. I'd like to see even just a lot of rushes. It seems to be very slow paced, kind of hanging around mid. Try and get up in the face of mousesports. Try and make them uncomfortable, make them second guess as to what you're going to do in the rounds coming up afterwards.
I mean, the one round that they used to then find 3 was the pistol, and think about how incredibly fast they played. I think I definitely side you here, Vince, in the sense that North Academy have changed their pace incredibly since the start of this game. I mean, this setup as well, this 4-man A setup is so layered. The trade frags are certainly a potential, but they're almost banking on someone from mousesports overextending. I mean, it makes sense in the fact that Oscar had been prying for info in the bottom of mid multiple rounds. But they're assuming, of course, that mousesports aren't going to change things up into the tactical pause, which they absolutely do. Playing patiently backwards, of course, would be Oscar towards the A site. Now only pushing Sunny up close next to the smoke. And Sticko again's got footing on long B, so this is mousesports to me who have been taking more initiatives and not being punished for it.
Exactly, and the other thing as well, for North Academy setting up in such ways, it's not necessarily of the mindset of like, we're going to win this round. It's more the mindset, you're going to lose this round. You're going to make a mistake, and we're going to jump on top of that. There's no reason for mousesports to change anything they're doing. It's been working. The only 3 rounds they lost were because of the pistol round. Other than that, it's been all the rifle rounds going their way, all of them convincingly going their way. Maybe we're going to start to see some picks come in. This is one of the best opportunities that North Academy have had. Can they capitalize on it?
It's going to be bore up towards drop, successful yet again. Good utility usage to burn Sunny out of the cubby. And sure enough, the flashbangs convince Oscar back, so he's unable to trade, unable to stop anybody for the time being, but the connector push comes through. Rop's good for only one, and this puts a lot of pressure on the oppers of mousesports. 2 versus 4, up close, the no-scope is not good, and so Chris J has to clutch. We might just be watching North Academy find a round, despite the plant coming in very late. They have done it. The pace works out, and Mert seals the deal. That's a 4th for North.
Well, there you have it. The magic of the pause comes into play once again, but as you highlighted before, Scrawny, I mean, there's going to be a buy coming right back at them, and it wouldn't surprise me if we see double AWPs once again. It wasn't really the AWPing that let them down in that round. They just lost a couple of plays, and then the all-out push, as he said, exquisite utility used. I think it was Sunny that just got completely obliterated in mid from the Molotov and the underarm flash. And there we have it. There's the 2 AWPs in play, and Oscar goes for a peek again. He has had quite a lot of success with this, but Mertz straight down in middle, and this is the change of pace we were talking about. I love this from North Academy.
Can Sunny stop it? He will have an angle from the half wall. The T is starting to trickle past. He sprays for just one and bore up trades again. Great angle from Mertz, finding Chris J unsuspectingly inside the closets. And so Mertz has now given time for that bomb to join him, right? He sees that very fast opportunity with the pick onto Oscar. They stampede their way forward, knowing that maybe the defense wasn't prepared, and sure enough, they're not. Not only finding an opening frag, but then that immediate rotation kill as well. Fast play, off the back of the op.
What happens, Oscar goes for the peak, didn't realize the players were already right up against him, and a save will come into play. And this is the downside of the CT side. They had so much money just a couple of rounds prior. We were talking about how rich they were because of the double up picks. Sunny's down to $400, Sticko's down to $1,700. Of course, that will change at the end of this round, but it's the reason for them saving these 2 weapons. They can afford to get another full purchase in, but if they're to lose that round, North Academy could have mousesports on the back foot. This may not be over just yet.
I think these last 2 rounds back-to-back is certainly now going to put that in question, at least for mousesports. They have to understand that North Academy does have a little bit more depth, that they hadn't figured everything out, and that it's no longer smooth sailing. Still very possible that they could just turn it around here and now, but I mean, how many chances are you going to get like this where Mertz just finds a cracking opening and is able to continue onwards? Had Sunny maybe lined up those 2 players and not just gotten one, he could have kept himself tucked away into the wall. Would have put things at least a little more in question, but for the time being, does North Academy straight back what would be a 3rd consecutive round. Still mousesports with that double op setup, still spreading their numbers 3-2 with a favor towards the B site, but most notably, mousesports now no longer playing ramp or lower and doubling down on long A.
Yeah, they want to give as much cover to Oscar as possible as a result of what happened that last round when he was all by himself in mid. Sticko's taken quite a bit of damage. He's down to 57, but pushes through the smoke and the tease. Not expecting that at all, and cheekily scampers away from the smoke. The free pick and run. I like to see it. But Chris J narrowly missing out on his opportunity.
Dodges both frag grenades, the hail of gunfire, and then knows, of course, during that reload that likelihood of finding a pick or high. So Sticko, who has been aggressive on long, gets it done early on, and now Chris J will try his hand. With the op, he finds the first. Sunny as well chiming in with frags here, and this is a perfect round for mousesports. It's just down to Acor, who's left to find some kind of an impact. Likelihood is he won't be able to save. I'd assume that mousesports go on the chase. I mean, they've got definite cash to play around with.
I like that Sticko gives North Academy a taste of their own medicine. You know, we were talking before about how if you play really aggressively, even if it's just 1 or 2 rounds in 15, it really does put doubt in the back of your enemy's mind as to whether you're going to go for an aggressive push that next round or the round after. If you're constantly slow, you just get into a kind of rhythm. And so Sticko pushing the smoke as he did just there, it really is going to screw with North Academy now, because we've already seen them boost up into drop zone, get the frag and go around the back of them. It means they're always going to have to keep a player around drop zone, not allowing them to fully go for A at any point. So I really like what mousesports have gone for. Acor is being tagged up, but I think it's more just testing the waters for mousesports. They don't know he's there, so he will keep the AWP in his hands.
So comfort stripped away from long B in that last round. Again, very nicely done by Sticko, who has gone for flanks before. This time just disrupting the setup of all things. North Academy gonna have to be on their toes now. Again, it's a constant reminder that North Academy will have to work with, that at any given moment, that confidence that they've been starting to build can be easily put in question.
Definitely. They can't take anything for certainty at this point. And then again, mousesports, they'll also be feeling that a little bit too. You know, Oscar may be thinking, I probably shouldn't go back in mid and peak again. Last time I got wrecked and it lost us the round. Seeing a little bit more passive play now. He is going up into long with a Molotov there. But as soon as that extinguishes, he may have half a mind to just back away slowly. Especially if we start to see some nades come towards his position.
Ooh, sure enough, there's a man now in the danger zone. Oscar shuts it out. Great position for him to flash and fall back, but instead Mertz finds that frag, and now it's going to be up to Rops to try and support Sunny, who doesn't even get a single kill, but at least Rops has control of the ramp. He could just let them pass by him, and with a little bit of delay here from Borup, Rops could certainly get himself into the fray, but flashes go both ways, and now the bomb's delivered straight into his hands. 3 frags back from mousesports, and it's turned to the 1v2 because Mertz responds with a kill of his own.
Not going to get the second, though, and I've got to say, I hate to point out a single player, but Borup completely whiffed against Rops in mid. A flash came down, Borup was behind Rops, had a good 2 or 3 seconds to take him down, and just totally whiffed. Rops takes the kill. That very quickly shifts the dynamic of where the round was going. That really hurts North Academy. Take nothing away from mousesports. I mean, great work by Chris J at the end. But I feel like that round was North Academy's for the taking. They got the 2 entries. Like, they completely dismantled A apart from Rops. At that point, it should be all systems go. They should be able to take the site.
All right, a little change of pace yet again. We've seen North Academy try to flood mid. It's going to be Sunny on the M4 fully flashed, but still successful in stopping Mertz. Oscar behind the stables, looks to now skewer another, but an obstruction blocks his shot. Sunny still finding impact from APC, and sure enough, North Academy, they're struggling to get past this half wall. Cyclone down to 6 HP, and Oscar's going to push him, being low himself, but still being successful in finding double digits here for mousesports. Led by Rops, who had a rockstar performance here in the first half. mousesports able to stabilize despite a little question mark being created there by North Academy.
Yeah, not quite as one-sided as I'm sure many people were thinking, especially after mousesports started to, I think they won 7 rounds in a row or something like that. They were like 7-3 in the lead. You're thinking, okay, this is where the dreams and the hopes of the Danes go into the bathroom, right? Like, this is done. But they did mount a mini comeback. I think overall, though, a couple of big mistakes cost them dearly. On another day, this could easily be like a 9-6, 8-7 scoreline. Like, this could be anybody's map. If they win the second pistol, though, it's game back on.
Yeah, by all means, right? That's a certain way for them to move on over. And I'm actually really interested to see how their CT side is going to unfold. I'm also curious to see if mousesports now try to really dictate the pace, right? We said that obviously coming into this, they are going to be those favorites. They have that individual prowess that can really be unlocked. And especially with Rops already performing well. You know he's going to feel good coming into the T side. I wouldn't be surprised to watch him try and find some space for his teammates, watch him try to find some entries. And can guys like North Academy even hold that back? It's out of their hands now.
Well, one of my concerns about mousesports here is that they were very heavily dependent on their double op setup. That's not going to be anywhere near as influential or as impactful on the T side. We already discussed this, that sometimes AWPing on the T side can actually be kind of rough to try and make opportunities out of nowhere. Mertz is going to see himself just rushed down by 4 terrorists with Oscar watching the backside of long, and already mousesports, very similarly to how North Academy actually approached the pistol, a straight through, and have taken so much area for themselves. North Academy aren't too sure as to what's happening, but they do have the flanker of Borup, which is giving them so much information.
I like that. Very ambitious from Borup. He definitely tries to get that positioning just in case they double back, but with a moment's hesitation, mousesports now, they've decided to trek onwards. Oscar and Rops with 2, 3, and Chris J the 4th. mousesports win their pistol, and that's now dire straits here for the Academy team.
Yeah, and the other thing I was going to say is that Rops, most of his kills were fairly static frags, where he was just kind of pivoting on a swivel, like as a turret. He was just wrecking players. You're thinking that B platform player where he picked up 3 frags, no one checked his position. So I was going to say that a worry for mousesports, if they didn't get this pistol, maybe how is the entry going to come into play? Because we didn't really see much. That's a right click to Cyclone. I'm all for love taps, mate, but that's a step too far. What have you done that for?
A little too violent for my liking. It's your utility man as well, so you definitely don't want him to go down early on.
You just know he's mad triggered right now. He's like, come on, bruh. I'm down to 39 health.
mousesports weren't enough of a challenge. Ooh, the sawed-off. I can get behind this. always position dependent, but he's already got his footing towards the drop room, and this is where this weapon will excel. Of course, it's once he has to help out on platform that things become in question. But first man up will be Borup. Hides in the cubby, looks the wrong way, and flicks right back. So there we have it. Shotgun now in the hands of the CT side, and you can now allocate that towards platform, and it becomes a very real threat.
Oh, yeah. Definitely. It's interesting as well to see how the composition of weaponry is different between the two teams, because North Academy on their T side went for 3 assault rifles and 2 UMPs. mousesports with the sawn-off and a MAC-10. So definitely wanting more of that. Those dollar bills in their back pocket. Is it going to cost them? Acor, that nade, I think, just bounced off his forehead, and then Chris J finished off the rest. Unfortunate, but that's the way it goes sometimes. Bomb's going to get planted, and North Academy, who tried to stack on B with the aforementioned sawn-off, may just want to save. Come back into the next round, see if they can get some work done. For me, there's very little chance they clutch this round, so just save what you have.
Good decision there from mousesports. They offer up the sawed-off, and then they just circumvent the biggest threat by heading towards that A site. They recognize that odds are it's going to be played in drop down and plat. That's where I'd put a shotgun on CT side, and sure enough, move away. Of course, maybe if Acor finds a little bit more positioning, he could have got a kill, but like you said, that forehead grenade really just stopped him dead in his tracks.
Yeah, he just got completely obliterated as soon as he jumps out from balcony. Borup doesn't want to lose this sawn-off. It's a way for them to get back in. Plus the CZ that he could drop across the Acor. So dual purpose in him not dying. So at least, you know, trying to look at the silver linings over the very dark cloud looming overhead. North Academy do save 4 or 5 weapons if you include the sidearm for Acor, I believe it was in the end. So, no, sorry, Borup, pardon me. So he has dropped that across the Acor. Everyone has a bit of power in their back pocket now.
It's one of those prime examples of what will happen if you just don't throw all of your guns to the wind on a second round buy, right? You get a decent positioning. Try again. Of course, it's going to be still versus the 2 rifles and SMGs, but there's a lot of players standing towards this A site as mousesports begin to trickle in, trying to get past the half wall. Oscar opens up. Unfortunately, so far, these Deeg shots have all gone amiss. With Sunny getting a TK in here, it takes the 2 versus 3, but damage control by Sunny himself leaves it all on Borup, and shotgun at a distance, best of luck.
Yeah, they do about 2 hit points of damage and not much else. However, if they get close to him, that's where the shotgun really does come into its own. But Oscar's not going to allow it to come to fruition. 8-round lead now for mousesports. After going 3-0 behind, they lead 13-5. We are going to have a purchase for the CTs, but we're getting towards the last chance to lose now for North Academy if they want to bring this back.
Wonder if they'll draw out the double op setup. No, they won't. I don't think that Cash would have afforded it unless they had decided to go maybe a glass cannon. But we did watch mousesports pull it out straight away, right? Not using it as a response, but rather an initiator. Right now, it's going to be the fast B play, so really putting North here into question. Can they handle the heat that mousesports begin to send out? Borup certainly can. Mertz and Cyclone as well, chiming in for 3 frags in total, taking it down to Stiko and Rops. They still got footing towards this B site, but they've got a lot of opponents ahead of them.
You can understand why mousesports went for this. They had MAC-10s and not great weaponry, but you've got to say, hats off to North Academy. They handled that rush extremely well. And if they can hold on to the 4 weapons and take down Rops without any more of a fight, I mean, this is a fantastic round to build their economy, their confidence. They're going to lose gained, and now it is just a case of damage control for North Academy. This is actually also in the realms of possibility, a potential clutch. Rops has time. He doesn't have possession of the bomb, though, which is a huge issue, especially as Mertz has an AWP and can just train that on the doors.
Can't help but feel like had someone still been isolated towards the A site, it becomes that much more likely. Maybe Rops can take it down to just a 1v2, but with all 3 CTs this close to the site, again, sitting on that bomb, the likelihoods are slim. Rops spotting a man on the jiggle peak. Of course, the man side by side is low HP, so this next kill could be doable. And the man at a distance couldn't trade, but he will still find his kill. Mertz swinging wide will find the angle. That was scary for a moment.
Oh, yeah. I was really confused as to why they're peeking one by one, but I guess Mertz was more occupied towards long, assuming that he'd gone all the way around the back. And that's one of the reasons why Robs is taking his sweet time to push the doors, because it does like mind gaming your enemy, thinking, well, is he rotating all the way around? Like, we have to put one player there. It splits each of them up effectively into 3 1v1s. But I've got to say, even though Robs lost that round, he did a lot of damage. You can see here North Academy's economy is still not great. They've got a FAMAS and a UMP, and not many nades on the likes of Mertz and Burrup.
This time, not everyone from mousesports looking to get towards B early on, sending Rops as a feeler almost. But he actually finds the cubbies, so if Cyclone doesn't suspect this, he could be the first to fall, and that will then act as the trigger for mousesports, allowing everybody to push up here. Rops could single-handedly dismount this entire defense. It all comes down to timing. But he should have been spotted.
Yeah.
So he decides to go. It's traded straight back, though.
Sure, Cyclone's having a bit of a facepalm moment that he actually ended up dying there. It's all on Sticko. So again, North Academy, it was looking a bit rough for them when Rops got into the alcove, but since then, it's been pretty solid. Sticko butchers Burrup through the flashbang. And that's going to leave a mark. Flashing over, does land on the player on statue, who is actually very low, so that Molotov could start to become a bit of a nuisance if Acor's not careful. He wants to scamper off. Now, the good news for Sticko is he has control of the bomb, and there is still time left if he wants to go for the rotation. Oh my goodness, that shot was disgusting, but unfortunately for Sticko, he doesn't land the second. That would have put us down into a one-on-one. Acor's only down to 13 health though, and he's picked up the second frag as well. It's now down to just a 13 HP Acor against a 39 Sticko. Pretty much the next bullet will finalize this round. Time is starting to tick down, but again, Sticko around the side is going to get the clutch, and North Academy have just been spanked.
What a clutch from Sticko. That first shot through the wall with the AWP is disgusting. You could see him shuffling the weapons, knowing that he had to take it down to a numbers game, and that the AWP would be fantastic for it. I mean, hell, even that fully flashed headshot is a way to kick this off. Isolates them one after another, hits the headshots, crucially so, and then finds timing versus Acor where he has the health advantage. What a sickening round there from Sticko, and what a sickening situation now for North Academy. They have to come in with a UMP and this patched together buy on pistols. That round in and of itself just stripped away what could have been a confidence builder for North.
For sure, it's so hard to see how they come back now. They've gone in for an all-in. You're looking at 15-6. They'll have very little economy, similar sort of purchase in the next round if they were to lose this. mousesports in style from Sticko, who's seen a player and he decides to go straight past. He's going to call out to the rest of his team. All right, boys, there's one on ladder. Take him down and push. It's going to be 1-for-1 trade. This allows Sticko to get right up close with Burrup, who had no idea that a player would be there. That's the reason he let that first player cross. Sticko's playing like next level stuff right now, but unfortunately, the rest of his team have been getting massacred. North Academy actually have the player advantage.
Got a man to watch the cross, but that's blocked off by the Molotov, and sure enough, Oscar takes it. 2v2 now. At least guns retrieved. Mirrored per side as the UMP and AK. Tidbits of utility as well for each lineup, but speaking of lineups, they nearly do. Oscar repeaks, finding Cyclone at a 15th round for mousesports now, as a 9-round comeback is what is needed, even just for OT. There was definitely glimmers of hope, I would say, for North Academy. They had some footing even in the second half, despite losing pistol and really going down to that round deficit, but well, Sticko has other ideas.
Yeah, that play was an absolute joy to watch, but at the same time, you felt this gut-wrenching hurt for North Academy as any comeback was completely squashed. As I said, the next buy would be very poor, and here we have it with the scout and pistols. Nearly line up for Cyclone. Did a bunch of damage to Sticko, but the rest of the mousesports are there and in position. Acor with a no-scope is going to connect the shot, but Chris J still has 4 health. And this is the House of Cards coming crumbling down. North Academy need Gay to go 1-on-4 if they want any chance.